Hey there, friends. We are back for part 2 of Dinosaurs. I hope the ride has been okay so far. We get a little extra sloppy in this one. But what else can you expect after I fired James in part 1 and now it's Encounter Me? Good luck and enjoy. Hey there, creepers, and welcome to an episode of Encounter Me, a podcast that dives deep into my dangerous psyche. Also featuring James Kidd. Moving on, we're going to jump down to the Stegosaurus. Classic
Stegosaurus.
Super classic. This is a huge beast in 5e. Also known as the Blood Spike Behemoth. They were actually gargantuan in 3e.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and of course had alternating protective plates from head to tail. The spikes in their tail were up to 1 meter in length, which is not small. And they used their plates to distribute heat absorbed from the sun. Found in the jungles of Chult, sticking together in small groups of 4 or 5. And they were not intelligent and had very small brains. Combat tactics for these creatures included turning away from the threat and thrashing their tail about, as well as kicking like a horse or charging and trampling smaller creatures. Annoyingly, this is not well reflected in the stat block, which we will get to. Okay. I made a specific note about that because I was not happy. IRL, herbivores. They are also from Ornithischia, and they measured around 9 meters or 29.5 feet in length, weighing as much as 5.3 to 7 metric tons, or 15,432 pounds.
That's so big.
Big. Yeah, really big. We're around in the late Jurassic period. The Stegosaurus discovery is basically one of the many dinosaurs first collected and described in the Bone Wars. And were originally...
There were so many from the Bone Wars.
No doubt.
It's absolutely insane.
This guy was originally named by Othniel Charles Marsh in 1877 from the remains covered north of Morrison, Colorado. And the meaning of their name is roof lizard.
Okay.
I didn't really see anything as to why. I guess the plates on its back look probably pretty unique in the discovery at the time. It's like, look, they've got a roof. And it's a lizard. Moving on, said Charles Marsh. And the fun fact I have here is that famously possessing a small brain, it was later discovered that a second brain may have existed near the hips in its rear portion, possibly responsible for controlling reflexes for the rear of its body and giving a sort of temporary boost when under threat. It also may have been a reservoir for compounds to support the nervous system.
Or a balance organ.
If I remember correctly, there was a really interesting picture. I don't have it here, but of the cavity or what would have filled the cavity where this brain was. And I think they have a pretty strong reason for believing that it's a separate brain. Not like a thinking brain, but like something that activated and had a significant impact on its survival, which I thought was really quite interesting.
Well, the large canal was much, much larger than where its brain would have been. And the theory is that because it was in its hips, it would control its reflexes.
Right.
So it would give it a boost when it was under threat from predators. Yeah. But I'm not sure when this research came out. They think it's probably more likely to be This article says sacrolumbar expansion.
Okay.
Which is not unique to stegosaurs, sauropods, and is present in birds. It contains a glycogen body, a structure whose function is not fully known, but is theorized to facilitate the supply of glycogen to the animal's nervous system. So, the other theory is that it was like an organ to supply compounds, like you said, or a balance organ.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense to me. It's just like, a defensive mechanism organ, like a big boost to whatever it is that it needs to react, essentially, to defend,
for sure.
to attack. stat block wise, again, it's a huge beast. Gargantuan in 3E, which I find strange. Gargantuan, when I think Gargantuan, I think really big, like Brontosaurus big. So it doesn't make sense to me, although I'm not sure if the size differences in 3E were much different from 5E.
Well, in 3E, they were actually defined. In 5E, they're not.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, they're more loosely defined. There is an image on page 1 of the PDF that gives you a basic idea of the sizes. I don't know if you noticed that. And that's some 5E stuff.
Yeah. But in 3E, they're like numerically defined.
Yeah, like really hard, eh?
Yeah.
But I mean, as far as this creature is concerned, like AC 13, 76 HP, speed of 40, high strength, everything else is up to snuff. No extra special things. CR of 4, tail attack of 66 plus 5. Nothing to scoff at. It is bludgeoning damage, apparently, unless I got that wrong. That's it. That's literally it. Despite the description from the Forgotten Realms wiki that they horse kick.
Right.
And they charge and they trample smaller creatures. These creatures are missing some actions, as far as I'm concerned. Why don't they have a charge? Why don't they have the trample? They are a CR4. Just the damage alone is not worth their CR. They're low AC, okay HP. Like they're really boring.
Yeah.
Their description gives a lot more than their stat block.
But to be perfectly honest, the lower AC of these herbivores really actually bugs me. I think they should be much higher. They would have evolved thicker skin to reduce, or like at least resistance against piercing attacks or something like that. Like, there's no world in which this skin is as thick as the skin of a Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Yeah. You said piercing, but I would argue slashing.
I mean, teeth don't slash, but yes, I understand.
Yeah. Piercing is more direct, so it's going to pierce through that thick skin. Slashing is just going to probably bounce off of it,
Yeah, so I think there should be some sort of DR. I like that there's the big boost of strength. Mm-hmm. I don't love the nerf to Dex here, but yeah, there's not a whole lot going on. Like they're as iconic as they are. I agree with you that tail weapon should be piercing at the very least because it is what are they called? Sajomizer. Sajomizer?
You made that up.
I wish. It is the distinctive arrangement of 4 to 10 spikes on the tail of stegosaurid dinosaurs.
Oh, okay.
Sajomizer. Yeah. And it's weird. And the plates I don't know. It really does feel like it. Like this whole dinosaur has always felt like it's lacking something to me, and I know that those plates are probably for thermogenesis, and they're not actually bone; they are platelets. They're probably used to absorb and diffuse heat. But I don't know. I just always thought this dinosaur looked badass as fuck, and apparently it just straight up wasn't. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I've always had a soft spot for Stegosaurus.
I think they're cool. Yeah, for sure.
Too, yeah.
I mean, this is the one I remember the most having a toy of, for sure. And
they were in Jurassic Park 1 as well.
Yeah.
And I think Alan ducks out of the way of that Thatchomizer.
Actually, I think that might be number 2. I feel like as much as I don't know 2 and 3 very well, I very much remember the Stegosaurus appearing in one of the latter two, and it not being in the first one.
Okay,
yeah.
You might be right there.
Yeah.
That's not one of the memories I have pretty specifically. I know there's definitely a scene in number 2, and I think it's Vince Vaughn who's inside of a hollow log where a Stegosaurus tail pierces it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But I think it's Vince Vaughn. Yeah. It might be Julianne Moore.
Easily mistaken.
It's honestly been a hot second since I saw.
I mean, Vince Vaughn looks a lot like Judy Foster, so let's
Jodie,
whatever. Cutting that.
Yep.
I don't mind making the quick addendum. I did look it up. The Saplock does actually read piercing for the tail. It's not bludgeoning. I've just gotten it wrong here.
That makes sense. Yeah. I wasn't going to look it up because piercing just makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. But I wish they had a trample. I wish they had a kick. Because that's what
those back legs look like they could do
Yeah.
some fucking damage.
Absolutely. And I love the idea of them being attacked and all they do is just turn their back to their opponent and start going nuts. They swing the tail, they kick, they go to town. And I like that. And the fact that they apparently group in groups of 4 and 5. Like there might be a CR4 even with adding those things. Maybe a CR5 or 6 at most. But in a group, this is not a level 4 or 5 encounter if for some reason you're hunting them down. It's intense.
Yeah, I'm actually like, as much as this dinosaur, it appears in the real world, it doesn't have a whole lot going on for it other than it looks fucking cool.
Yeah.
This stat block is really kind of all over the place. It's kind of a hot mess.
Yeah.
The dex, I think, is way too low for a quadruped creature, period, much less a quadruped prey creature. I think the intelligence is probably a little too low. Like, I think that's playing on the theory that Stegosaurus had the lowest brain to body ratio out of any creature I think we found. I think that's accurate. And it's not, the five charisma, like. Well, this dinosaur's got charisma coming out of its asshole.
Well, so to be fair, just quickly reviewing all of the stat blocks here, and I remember this being a consistent thing, and it's that especially with the intelligence and the charisma that you've just noted, pretty much all of them are the same. So, like, the Stegosaurus doesn't suffer from what you've said as far as the stat block goes. It's on par with everyone else. It's 2 intelligence and 5 charisma. There's, like, very little exceptions to that rule as far as the stat blocks go.
So, I mean, that bugs me.
Yeah.
The Stegosaurus should be the exception to that rule because of that brain to body ratio,
right?
That we've talked about. That has been observed. But like, it's a CR4 for seemingly no reason. I think its AC's too low. I don't understand why it's got 8d12 hit points. I don't understand why it's huge. I don't understand why its attack is so high. Like, none of that stuff really adds up to me. I think this is probably the one we've seen so far that would benefit them most from homebrew.
Yeah. I imagine that its defensive reactions are what make it aggressive. And it's probably really hard to balance that between HP, attack bonus, and AC. I have a hard time imagining its AC being higher. But I also agree with everything you're saying. Why is its HP that? Why is its attack so high? And
so I mean, I guess my
to me, I just attribute all of that to its size. It's a huge beast. Right. It's easy to hit and it's hard to avoid.
Right. So my logic there is because it's a prey animal, it's going to have developed some sort of defense mechanism to a direct attack, whether that be the platelets or whatever. I think its AC should be higher and its HP should be lower. Like, this is it can survive 1 or 2 hits, but it shouldn't survive 3 from a level 3 barbarian.
Right.
Whereas it should be harder to hit because you're just not getting. I guess what I would like is DR. I think really what I'd like from some of these dinosaurs is the prey animals specifically. Like,
I was literally just thinking that. I think that's the solution. I think that's what we're missing the most, and I think that.
You could even half those hit points, and just give it DR.
I think this might be the mistake of these stat blocks and wizards in that because they are beasts, they're all unaligned. That they are lacking in DR, and I think it's because they often apply DR to creatures that are at least a little bit magical. Very rarely with no magic, and I think that's a mistake.
I think so too. I think anything with a thicker skin should have damage.
Especially in the example of going way back, the Ankylosaurus. Like, it's got literally metal plates on its back.
It's literally known as the tank of the crustaceans. Yeah. That's its nickname.
Why the hell doesn't it have a DR? I'm with you. I think we're very much on the same page in that. And this guy, the Stegosaurus, and probably a few others in retrospect, deserve some homebrew love in that regard. DR versus AC and such.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what happens when we get to the Stegoceratops, but let's...
I'm sorry, the what?
Deal with... Oh, okay. So here's your fun fact about the Stegosaur. In Jurassic World, they originally thought Indominus Rex wasn't enough. One genetically modified dinosaur wasn't enough. So in tandem with the Stegosaurus or the Indominus Rex and the Indoraptor, they were going to have the Stegoceratops. But they cut it because they wanted the Indorex to be unique.
The only thing I have to say to that is that if anyone listening didn't understand it because they haven't watched the films and now they feel like they want to watch the films to understand it, don't. Just still don't. Just don't. It's not worth it. It's atrocious. It's awful. It's not worth it. Just don't. The Indominus Rex is like the dumbest thing that's ever been created. I hate it so much. No, don't do it. Yeah. Don't do it.
I really like B.D. Wong as a character in that movie.
I love B.D. Wong.
And I think that's what makes it, I think he's the redeeming factor for me.
He actually does a great job through the whole thing.
Well, and he says one line that like retcons all of Jurassic Park. And it's always stood out to me, and I'm going to butcher the quote here.
Oh God.
And instead I'm going to paraphrase it, and he's like, you want him bigger, you want him scarier. You don't want him with feathers, or you don't want him to look realistic or something like that. Mm-hmm. Like, he acknowledges that dinosaurs have feathers, and he explains it away in one line. He's like, you don't want them to have feathers. You want them to look a certain way. You want them to be bigger, stronger, and scarier.
Yeah.
And that's why he's always engineered them without feathers.
Right. He's like, that's what I've been doing. Yeah.
Man, B.D. Wong is a legend.
He's awesome. I love that guy.
Watch everything he does. Watch Nora from Queens. Just everything.
Watch Oz. Although, watch it with caution. Oz is a brutal show, but it's great.
Yeah. Nora from Queens is funny as hell, and he's amazing in it. He's so out of character. It's fantastic.
All right. Let's move on. Stegosaurus is taking up a lot of time.
All right.
I love it.
Yeah. Stegoceratops. Got it. Let's do it.
Oh, God. Okay, we got 3 more to go.
Okay.
Still. Sorry, so we're going to move on to another classic, the Triceratops. And since we're running so long, we anticipated we would. What do you say, James, that we just make the decision now? We're going to cut this in 2 parts. We're going to do 2 back-to-back eps. And I guess that means the horrible, horrible thing that one of these is going to drop on Aaron's birthday. So I guess this is happy birthday, Aaron.
I mean, I'm not going to say it. I think that's probably a good idea. So the client we use to publish audio has a file max size limit, and we're getting real close to what that would be.
Oh, so, yeah? Okay, all right.
Yeah, it's probably best if we drop this as a 2-parter.
All right, well, seeing as how this is suddenly turned into a birthday present for one of my best friends, although I hate it, I have to crack another beer. Ugh, it's the worst.
This is honestly one of the most fun I've had doing an episode.
This is great. I told you this was going to be a silly one. And again, I'm so pumped that you just have all this weird information about dinosaurs.
I did not know it was this in a dinosaur.
I hope it's mostly accurate, at least.
I think it is.
Well, here's hoping. Fingers crossed. You heard it here first, guys. We're mostly accurate about dinosaurs.
Yeah, I'm an amateur dinosaurologist. Enthusiast grade, I think, is what people would call me.
Yeah. Well, the old Triceratops is a classic. In the D&D lore, it does have a Cholton language name.
Okay, cool.
Itepka is the best way I know how to pronounce that. It is known as a massive dinosaur with a short temper, and of course, for being an herbivore. is found in the jungles of Chult, and yet another one of those found on the Forbidden Plateau. And an honorable mention is that there was a Chult secret society that called themselves the Triceratops Society, and left little iron Triceratops figurines as signs of warning or calling cards.
I guess that's cool.
I wasn't really sure how to feel about it. It's a very unimaginative name for a secret society. And also, iron Triceratops figurines. It sounds like a lot of work to just leave behind as a calling card.
Oh, no, you just make one mold and you cast it.
Oh, yeah, I suppose. But, yeah, I don't know. My guess is there's more in Tomb of Annihilation regarding that. But
probably.
I just thought it was
weird.
It was the only other thing I could really find, and I thought it was kind of strange.
Yeah, that's a little weird.
But as far as IRL stuff goes, of course, they were an herbivore. They belong to the clade known as Marginocephalia. Marginocephalia. It's a clade of ornithischian dinosaurs that is characterized by a bony shelf or margin at the back of the skull. So very trademark part of the Triceratops.
Right.
That big shelf or what have you on the back of the skull.
Well, there's a whole. So is it the Marginocephalia that all have that shelf? Is that what
I think that's it. Yeah, because they also belong to Ornithischia. Right. But, going down the line, the Marginocephalia also...
Right, it's like the Cosmosaurus and all that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. Yeah. There's like a whole bunch of different ones.
Right.
That look like a Triceratops.
Yeah, right. Of course there are, yeah. So they definitely belong to a certain family under Ornithischia, as far as I know. Now, the Triceratops is like 7.9 to 9 meters, 26 to 30 feet in length, 2.9 to 3 meters, or 9.5 to 9.8 in height, and weighed 6.7 to 12 tons.
If I'm not mistaken, that's just a school bus.
Pretty much.
School bus with horns.
Yep.
I think.
School bus with horns. Oh, now that I see it, that's what their name means. No. Imagine.
I don't know why that got me.
Because it was dumb and it was great at the same time. These guys come from the late Cretaceous period, and they, as far as the discovery is concerned, the first named specimen now attributed to the Triceratops is a pair of brow horns attached to a skull roof, found by George Lyman Cannon near Denver, Colorado in the spring of 1887. So they weren't sure what it was at first, but now we know that it's a Triceratops. The meaning of Triceratops is actually 3-horn face. Very direct and specific. And fun fact with these guys is that I didn't know this is a thing, but it is the official state fossil of South Dakota and the official state dinosaur of Wyoming.
I legit feel like I knew that, but I don't know why I would know that.
I didn't know there was such thing as state fossils and state dinosaurs, but I mean, I guess it makes sense considering that's where a lot of them were found. Those certain areas of North America and the U.S. and stuff. So
yeah, and I mean, those states make up a whole bunch of shit anyway.
Why not? I mean, we all have state flowers and shit, so... Or like provincial flowers and animals.
I was going to say, we don't have state flowers.
Yeah, whatever.
And we got birds and shit. I mean, they have all those. Every state has a flower, a bird, a motto. And
right, yeah.
A flag, probably.
You can see the artwork is a pretty big variance here. The top one that I have here is, I believe, straight from Tomb of Annihilation. It's from one of the races.
Yeah, that is for sure.
I believe it's either a T-Rex or an Allosaur racing a Triceratops. The other one is a 2ER, which is oddly reminiscent of like an old, video game system. I almost feel like it's significantly better rendered, but it just gives me a vibe of like an old Sega game or something, that you would see pixelated. And the other piece of art,
that's from Cadillacs and Dinosaurs, the comic book, right?
Which one?
Cadillacs and Dinosaurs.
Which art? The last one?
The last piece of art? Yeah.
As far as I know, this is the D&D one. I genuinely don't know.
Oh, yeah?
All I know is that it is ridiculous. And I've had a little note here that says, apparently Tyrannosaurs kill Triceratops by humping them to death. Because that's what it looks like what he's doing.
Yeah.
Looks like he's dry humping his back leg. And it's really dumb.
One of the things illustrators used to do in the late 70s and early 80s, specifically in comic books, is not draw pupils in and just color in all the eyes white.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because the printers couldn't print the dots in pupils like that.
Cool. Yeah.
So that's why you see a lot of characters with just pure white eyes or white and black eyes, or their eyes closed or shaded or whatever. It's because they couldn't do the pupils. So this looks like it was printed that way. So my initial thought was an early X-Men book. A middling X-Men book from like the late 70s when they visited the Savage Land, or Cadillacs and Dinosaurs, which was, I think, also a Marvel book in the late 80s. Mm-hmm. Also a television show in the late 80s. But
sure, fair enough. I mean, interesting facts. Doesn't address the fact that T-Rex is humping that Triceratops.
Oh, yeah.
Just dry humping the shit out of him.
I think he's teabagging him.
Yeah, he got some sweet kills on him in Counter-Strike.
Looks that way.
Yeah. Ridiculous.
I also don't think this is a Triceratops, if I'm being...
In that image, no. I definitely completely stripped this image from the Forgotten Realms wiki, so it's on them, whether this is accurate or applicable.
Oh, for sure. So there's there's a different type of Triceratops, and I don't know what it's called because I didn't have the foresight to look it up.
Right.
But the Triceratops that we know doesn't have the spikes coming out of the top of its head.
Yeah.
So there's something called a Cosmosaurus, which has all the spikes.
Right.
And then there's a Regalosaurus, which has like frills. And then there's the Titanosaurus, which is probably, this might actually be the Titanoceratops, because it's like its size.
Right.
It's pretty close to a
really big, yeah.
Yeah, so it might be a Titanoceratops.
As far as the stat block goes, I mean, we're looking at a huge creature, 13 AC again. HP of 95, speed of 50, which is pretty significant. It is a CR5. It has gore and stomp for attacks.
Yeah, I like that. That makes sense. That gore is pretty aggressive.
Stomp requires the creature to be prone, which you don't see very often. It's just kind of plugged into that very basic information. But yeah, it comes up, hits you with the horns, and then if you're down, it stomps you. They, of course, have what's called trampling charge, which is the thing we've been sort of asking for a couple of these creatures.
Right.
So minimum of 20 feet, which is different from pounce. It's a little bit like with the dive attack, a little bit less than half the speed. And if it hits with the gore attack after running that amount, DC 13 strength saving throw to be knocked prone, and then a stomp attack as a bonus action.
Okay, that's cool. So it has the ability to knock them prone, and then the attack to make when they're prone.
Right, yeah. You get down there, and then it can stomp away. No multi-attack, so it's not getting too crazy, but...
well, I don't think this thing is dexterous enough to have multi-attack.
Yeah, definitely a big lumbering thing. This thing seems to be lumped in size and stat-wise with the Stegosaurus, but with features where the Stegosaurus
this is
lacking
what we in the business call a good stat block.
Yeah. Oh, look at that. It's interesting. The Stegosaurus just needs love to its stat block like this Triceratops has received. But I mean, it all adds up to me in this case. Not much complaint like the Stegosaurus, and I think it looks pretty good. We're looking at
I like
48 for the gore, 3d10 for the stomp. It's no slouch. It's hitting hard.
Yeah, this will fucking end you.
Yeah. Is that a threat?
I mean, it might be.
It might be. Bring it on.
This is actually a rough CR5, I think. The 48 on the gore alone.
Yeah.
And then the stomp, the 3d10 is a bonus action. Like that's
big. That's
pretty.
It's definitely
big. And I don't like a Stegosaurus. This is a herbivore, and herbivores aren't solo creatures in the wild.
Right.
So I cannot imagine that this would be a solo creature, something that lives with larger predators.
You'd think it would be like the Stegosaurus, like group packs of 4 or 5 or something like that, right?
Almost any herbivore that I'm aware of is a pack animal.
Right, yeah. Honestly, if you gave this stat block multi-attack and just simply gave it multi-attack for stomp, and still required the prone creature caveat, you would easily increase its CR. Just like it gets 2 stomps if the creature is prone. Like that CR increase would increase quite a bit, I would think, very quickly. Would be the easy one to make
maybe
more
not as much as you think. I think the way to really increase the CR is to make the gore attack knock them prone. Like you hit them so hard with the horns, they fall over. Because it's really easy to get up in 5e. It doesn't provoke or anything like that.
Right,
so they can just stand up.
I think keeping true to
a trample and a stomp.
I think keeping true to the way the stat blocks generally work in 5e, I would almost give the gore a shove mechanic, allowing for the next turn to trampling charge if they don't move or if they move farther away. You know, like
I like that, but you'd have to knock them 20 feet.
I would. Yeah, it would have to be. To me, it would be like knock them 10, and then see what they do. And if they're like, "Fuck this!" Like I get hit hard and I get shoved away, I'm gonna peel. And then they're like, "Well, no, you peeled. That's the wrong move. I'm gonna trampling charge you now." You know, a bit of a psych out. Not saying that would necessarily play into the favor of the Triceratops, but might play with the psyche of the player at least.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see why you couldn't just make that in the moment happen, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Good improv moment, yeah.
Yeah, that's one of those encounter designs a la Minute that I think is just fine. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really like this stat block. I like Triceratops. They're one of my favorite dinosaurs. I think they're really neat. As we do in the show notes, we'll link an episode of... excuse me. It's a show called What Dinosaur Real Good. It's on the Small Beans Network, and they do one on a creature called the Cosmoceratops, which looks like the Triceratops if it had a comb over. So everything's really similar to the Triceratops, but it's like they think it was these wild colors. So we'll link that in the show notes because it's a fantastic episode. I love those guys, and the small beans deserve more
love.
Yeah, if you guys were Cracked fans, it's Michael Swaim, Abe Epperson, and Bridget Greenberg from back when Cracked media used to be good or entertaining.
Wicked. All right, well, we're reaching the final stretch, and we're going to talk about probably the biggest stat block so far, and it's the old Tyrannosaurus Rex.
The old king of the jungle.
The old king of jungle. D&D describes them as enormous predators known for their savage nature and low intelligence, which sometimes saw them performing self-destructive acts, like trying to swallow the horned head of a Triceratops whole.
What an idiot.
Found in the jungles of Chult, who would have thought? And, of course, on the Forbidden Plateau. And this is where I found the pronunciation of Upteo, the patron deity of Chult, took the form of a T-Rex as its avatar, and the dinosaur itself was believed to be among its children. And that's your honorable mention as far as D&D is concerned. For IRL stuff, carnivore, theropoda for clade, and as far as size goes, from one of the largest and most complete specimens. Man, there's a lot of spelling mistakes in that one. It's nicknamed Sue, and it is about 12.8 meters in length, or 40 to 42 feet, and 3.66 meters, or 12 feet at height of the hips, and weighed 8.4 to 14 tons.
Okay.
Not a small creature. Really adds up to what we visually would have seen from a lot of the Jurassic Park films and stuff. Existed in the late Cretaceous period. Discovery came from the at first found was the teeth, and from what is now documented as the T-Rex. And they were found in 1874 by Arthur Lakes near Golden, Colorado. And in 1892, Edward Drinker Cope found 2 vertebral fragments, and Barnum Brown, assistant curator of the American Museum of Natural History at the time, found the first partial skeleton of T-Rex in eastern Wyoming in 1900. So it took a bit of time to sort of realize these things were all connected. The literal meaning of Tyrannosaurus Rex is Tyrant Lizard King.
Wow, that's such a good name.
It really is. I feel like it's one of the things I always thought that was strange about the Tyrannosaurus Rex. Like, what's Rex? Like, Rex seems like a weird added-on feature, but I didn't realize it literally meant king.
There are a bunch of quarters from the early 1900s that say Rex on them when we had a king. That's how I know that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Regina is queen, I believe.
Mm-hmm. So we're going to get to that fun fact that I promised you way earlier, and it's that a study in 2012, is very recent, by Carl Bates and Peter Falkingham, found that the Tyrannosaurus had the most powerful bite of any terrestrial creature that has ever lived. Finding an adult Tyrannosaurus could exert 35,000 to 57,000 newtons, or 7,868 to 12,814 pounds of force in the back of its teeth.
Jesus Christ.
An outrageous amount. And this is why it could just get through that Ankylosaurus like shell and armor, unbelievable. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Really phenomenal creature. There's lots of pictures I put below at a whole separate page. You see some artist renderings. One's of a reconstructed jaw. One is a really cool image of the right forelimb. Various heads of different species of Tyrannosaur. A probable footprint found in New Mexico, which is really, really nifty. And as far as the stat block goes, it's got quite a bit going on here. It's a huge beast. 13 AC, such a common thing. Hit points of 136. Speed of 50, so it's not slow. Its dex is 10, which is quite high for a lot of these huge creatures we've been looking at. And it's a 25 strength with a +7.
Well, these things could run 30 miles an hour. It kind of makes sense.
Yeah. Strangely enough, they're way more charismatic than the rest. They have a 9 charisma.
That's because of Spielberg, I think. Or Disney.
Yeah,
but we can get to that later.
Maybe they could just wink with one eye and just really draw you in.
I mean, that happens in literally every Jurassic Park film.
So the T-Rex has a perception of +4, so it's keeping an eye out. It does have multi-attack, which might be the first we've come across in this whole list. Oh, no, it's not. The old Deinonychus had that when we argued that the CR wasn't adding up.
Oh, right.
Up to 3 attacks, yeah. Same deal with the T-Rex. 1 bite, 1 tail. The bite is really interesting. 40-12, which is terrifying. So this is a CR8 creature. This is
That's
up
so
there.
much higher.
So much higher. The highest we've seen so far is CR5. 4d12 +7 piercing. If the target is medium or smaller, it's grappled. Escape DC of 17. And until the grapple ends, it's restrained, and the Tyrannosaurus can't bite another target, of course, but it can continue biting it. And the tail is doing 3d8 +7, so it's like really following through. It's going to attack real hard.
And that, correct me if I'm wrong, but it looks like it has reach, 10-foot reach too?
Yeah, 10-foot reach on both of those decks.
Is that not small for a huge creature?
No, I think that's pretty standard. I mean, you could see 10-foot reach on a large creature even.
That's kind of what I was thinking, is that it might be the bite attack specifically might be a lot like 15 feet, but
I think that it's probably related to its head and tail size to its body, where like a lot of creatures, like their head and neck might be way longer and their tail is like really long, where the Tyrannosaurus is like it's a big creature, but it's a little bit more compact in its length. That's just me
Yeah, I
spitballing,
guess
though.
so. It looks like its tail's about as long as the rest of its body, so I guess the tail, in this case, too, is a counterweight. So that, I guess that makes sense,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, we all know that this creature particularly is not able to, like, get down on those front limbs. So that counterweight idea makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, for sure.
This is the other of the two that Tomb of Annihilation has treated us with a zombie feature.
Awesome.
This one is way more crazy. It has the same trademarks: lower AC at 11, lower speed at 40 instead of 50. Dex, Int, Wisdom, and Charisma all take a hit. It does gain the damage and condition immunities of poison, dark vision, so on and so forth. It does have the undead fortitude. Again, with the when the zombie is reduced, when the zombie is reduced to 0 hit points, it makes a con save of DC of 5 plus damage taken, unless that damage is radiant or critical. And on success, the zombie drops to 1 hit point instead. You know what I kind of love about that is that can happen multiple times. There's no if it keeps succeeding that save, it stays alive. Makes it that much more dangerous.
I think this is a ghoul trait.
Oh, yeah?
And I know I've used this against you guys before. I'm not sure if it was a ghoul or a revenant, but I have used this, and I have succeeded on this more than one time. Mm-hmm. And I love it. I think it's so good. It's like Orc Ferocity, but for as long as you can keep making that save.
Yeah. Yeah, like that Pathfinder Orc Ferocity. I love that, yeah. What a cool idea. Now, the bite does change a little bit as well for this Tyrannosaurus zombie. In addition to the usual rules in which it can bite and grapple, it is not able to disgorge a zombie while grappling a creature. Now, you might ask, what does that mean? Well, disgorge zombie is a whole thing. As a bonus action, the Tyrannosaurus zombie can disgorge a normal zombie, which appears in an unoccupied space within 10 feet of it. The disgorged zombie acts on its own initiative count. After a zombie is disgorged, roll a d6. On a roll of 1, the Tyrannosaurus runs out of zombies to disgorge and loses this trait. If the Tyrannosaurus zombie still has this trait when it dies, 1d4 normal zombies erupt from its corpse at the start of its next turn. These zombies act on their own initiative count.
So you've got this giant fucking Tyrannosaurus that's already undead, and it just starts throwing up zombies?
It just pukes them out, essentially, as a bonus action.
So good.
It's just bonus action, bleh, and then you roll a d6 to see if it can do it anymore. And then you just keep going.
I want more of that.
It's a hell of it's as if this Tyrannosaurus just had a bunch of people that it ate and swallowed in a very short amount of time, and then somehow was turned into a zombie or an undead, and all of those were turned in tandem. And here you go.
That's amazing.
So
I just looked it up to clarify. An undead fortitude is specifically a zombie trait. Mm-hmm. So every zombie it throws up also has undead fortitude.
Crazy. So they get to make those saves. That actually turns into possibly a complicated fight for the DM.
Yeah, that gets really tough.
Yeah, a lot of con saves happening and stuff. But again, I mean the AC's low and stuff, so it's not like but if all the rolls go wrong in the right way, you could have a hell of a fight in your hands. Yeah. Really, really cool.
Wow. Mm-hmm. I like that a lot. I think this is I think CR8's probably a little high.
Yeah.
But I like it. I think it's at least for the general. We don't have the zombie CR here. Is it also CR8?
Yeah, the CRs for the zombies did not change. I can tell you that much. Okay,
so the zombie one CR8 kind of it works for me. I like that. Mm-hmm. I think the OG Tyrannosaurus, the AC8 doesn't really do anything for me.
Right. I think the danger in the original is that it bites and grapples, and it can continue that bite and 2 tail attacks. And while keeping one player more or less incapacitated. So you could, if it can effectively restrain one of the PCs and still perform its full multi-attack at the same time.
Right, but this could multi-attack, not grapple, and then throw up a zombie.
Right. If the original shouldn't be a lower CR, then at least the zombie should be higher.
That's kind of where I'm getting at.
Despite the AC reduction,
probably closer to 7. I don't think the disparity is too high.
Yeah.
But I do think there is a disparity there that needs to be addressed. Because grappling is fine, but higher action economy is better.
Yeah, for sure. Couldn't agree more. And that zombie's got it. That zombie has got it.
Yeah, exactly. Like the zombie's only got one attack or whatever, unless, on a 6, maybe it throws up an ogre zombie. I don't know. Or maybe a beholder zombie. You're in Schultz. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Play with it. Fuck with it. But that action economy really changes when you add another combatant, which it can just straight up do.
Right. Hell of a thing.
As a bonus action every turn. Like, why would you ever throw a regular Tyrannosaurus Rex at a party,
Yeah.
But I this is probably my favorite zombie stat block of all time.
Oh, it's crazy.
It's
super cool. Good. Yeah. And of course, assuming that it's just a normal zombie, like they're a quarter challenge, but if for some reason everything goes south, like I said, all the wrong rolls in the right way, you could have a lot of zombies in your hands, You could very quickly.
I mean, we'll get to zombies when we get to zombies, but they may only be a quarter, but they still slam for 1d6,
Yeah.
And the undead fortitude that we spoke of earlier, that's things could go very well for you as a DM.
Easy to play with as a DM too, where you just be like, well, you approach. Your approach is a clearing, and you see a giant lizard puking up zombies. There's already 4 or 5 of them available, right?
yeah, for sure. Eating the corpse of an ankylosaur that eventually turns into a zombie.
Yeah, why not?
There's a lot. Yeah. There's a lot there that you can work with that I think is really great. Yeah.
All right.
Fun fact for the Tyrannosaurus.
Oh, please do.
Is that in Fantasia, the Tyrannosaurus Rex had 3 fingers when it actually only has 2. It has a 3rd vestigial finger. But the theory is that Walt Disney told Barnum Brown, the discoverer of the Tyrannosaurus Rex, that it just looked better that way.
Walt had some fucking balls on him, didn't he?
Oh my God. Did he ever?
Yo, Barnum, your discovery's shit.
Yeah. Super good.
Oh,
really makes me happy.
What a guy.
Also, the Tyrannosaurus Rex was the original villain of King Kong from... oh my God, when did King Kong come out, Freeman? 1930...
Yep.
1934? And somewhere between 1932 and 1934, when the original King Kong dropped. The Tyrannosaurus Rex was the villain.
Well, I mean, we might as well get to the chieftain of all of this, the final in the alphabet, the Velociraptor.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
I think so. I hope I'm disappointed by this because I from what I know of them in real culture, they're really fucking disappointing. They're super not what Jurassic Park made them out to be.
Well, that's the point. That was the point that I was hoping to wait on. You almost brought up Deinonychus. We're gonna just dive right into it. A D&D lore describes them as small, aggressive dinosaurs who hunted in packs. Makes sense. Small cousin of the Deinonychus, and about the size of a turkey. They are a tiny beast.
Turkeys are fucking big, though.
What's it, sorry?
Turkeys should be small. Turkeys should be small. They shouldn't be tiny. Turkeys are big.
Turkeys are a good size. I'd say it's arguable, but I'm not going to disagree. Of course, these creatures are found in the jungles and beaches of Chult and on the Forbidden Plateau. And honorable mention is that they often hunted larger prey utilizing pack hunting tactics. Not much of an honorable mention, but it's all I could find. IRL wise, they've carnivores. They're from theropoda, like the allosaur and whatnot. Makes sense. They realistically ranged in size around 2.07 meters or 6.7 feet in length, and 0.5 meters or 1.6 feet in height.
Wow.
They were very small.
So tiny and long.
Yeah. Very long. Very fucking long. And very short. Now, mind you, that's probably hip height again. But still.
Yeah.
Still.
That's really small.
And they weighed anywhere between, or somewhere around 15 kilograms to 33 pounds. Wow. They were not large creatures at all. They were discovered during the American Museum of Natural History expedition to the outer Mongolian Gobi Desert on 11th of August, 1923. Peter Kaysen, or possibly Kaizen, recovered the first velociraptor fossil known to science, a crushed but complete skull associated with one of the raptorial second toe claws. Their meaning...
Opening scene of Jurassic Park.
Yeah, right. And this is where we're going to get into that, because the meaning of their name is Swift Seizer, as in like seizing something. Seizer. I thought that was pretty nifty. And
Scizor, the Pokemon, the steel and bug evolution of Scyther.
Scyther, yeah. So your fun fact about these creatures is that the idea of the Velociraptor was with feathered stems from smaller relatives that were definitely feathered and were even able to fly. And in 2007, a specimen found in Mongolia was discovered to have quill knobs on the forearm. The famous Jurassic Park representation is more accurately the Deinonychus, including the geographical location of Montana in the book and film. And the Velociraptor is actually only found in Central Asia, or like regularly found. So what we see in Jurassic Park and Jurassic World is not a Velociraptor at all. They are a Deinonychus, straight up, including the depiction at the beginning of Jurassic Park when they find the creature. It's not a Velociraptor. It's even in the wrong geographical location. It's a fucking Deinonychus.
Je suis super fan.
You called it, pretty much, straight up. Yeah. It's just wrong. It's just inaccurate, Fuck you, Michael Crichton.
Well,
you done fucked up.
I think you wrote it in the early 70s.
Nah, he's dead to me. I hate him.
Well, he's also just dead.
Yeah, he's dead to the world.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from.
Yeah, but no, there you go. I mean,
to touch on what I said earlier, my favorite family of creatures are raptors. And I would love to know if there are any paleontologists or ornithologists in the listening audience. If you could tell me which name came first. Was it the name for the family of birds, which are my favorite creatures, or was it the velociraptor or the family of raptors? Because there were more than just a velociraptor from the dinosaurs. I understand that they all mean swift or Caesar, because that's how raptors catch things,
right?
But I would love to know which one came first. For those of you who are unaware, some examples of raptors are ospreys, my personal favorite, falcons, harriers, and owls.
Oh, cool. What about cassowaries?
I don't think so. Okay. Do they hunt in air? I think to be a raptor, you have to hunt from the air.
They do not. The cassowaries are still exist and are very large birds. I saw one when I was in Australia, and it was probably one of the most fascinating things that stood me in my tracks. It's a flightless bird, and it's a dinosaur if you've ever seen one. It's insane.
Yeah. Okay, then no. So raptors hunt from the air.
Okay, gotcha.
So they specifically dive and kill with their talons before taking off.
Right.
So like eagles, kites, buzzards, vultures.
Right.
Sea ermines. The ones that I know are owls and falcons and ospreys, because I think they're the coolest. So falcons are the coolest fucking bird that's ever existed.
all of this adds up, especially with the description from Deinonychus and that smaller related species likely were capable of flight. The idea of a velociraptor that we have in our minds greatly stems from the influence of things like Jurassic Park, but it's like wholly inaccurate. You can see the images I have here for the notes. You have a very obvious, typical modern depiction, and then you have an artist rendering that is a straight up. If it can't fly, it can at least glide. Feathered creature. It's just covered in them. That
second depiction is so much scarier to me than the fucking big lizard. Like, I don't know what it is about lizards, but they don't really frighten me. Yeah. But like a fucking, like, I don't know if you've ever been attacked by like a turkey or a grouse or some shit. Like, they're scary as fuck.
Yeah. Imagining both of these creatures in both these images at the same size, I'm with you. I agree. Like the feathered one is, despite the teeth on the first one, the feathered one is scarier for me, for sure.
Yeah, teeth or whatever. It's those claws that really fuck me up.
Yeah, 100%. So it's hell of a thing. As far as the stat block goes, like again, we're talking about a tiny beast, so these things are quite small. Considering AC of 13 still though, going to be a little bit wily.
I think that's just like lizard skin is the D&D's defined it as 13, right. Which I don't whatever.
I mean, but they're also like quite dexterous, so we're looking at a very low strength in this one because they're so small and high dexterity, or high-ish 14, considering, and then they're only a quarter challenge, which might be up for debate here in a sec. They have 10 hit points, so quickly dispatched when hit. 30-foot speed, but they do have pack tactics. So you're definitely not encountering one on its own. A pack tactics grants advantage on attack roll against a creature if at least one of its allies is within 5 feet. And they also have multi-attack on top of that. And it's 3 attacks.
Right.
1 bite, 2 claws, 1d6 and a 1d4 bite and claw respectively, piercing, slashing, +2 each. So nothing crazy, but like you're talking if there's a good swarm of them, like they're rolling a lot of these with advantage. So it might be small damage, but it's happening very fast and from a lot of sources. A quarter challenge, I don't know. It sounds to me like they're assuming you're only doing 2 to 3 at a time. But when I think pack tactics, I think 5, 6, 7, 8.
Right. So I think a more accurate depiction of these guys in the Jurassic Park franchise is actually how Peter Stormare dies in The Lost World.
See, this I remember. This part I definitely remember. Like 100%. Those little dudes come at him in that river area, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they like.
So I think that might be a better example of Velociraptor. Mm-hmm. Even though they're not Velociraptors, they are they're related.
They're another one. Yeah.
I've seen those skeletons, I think at the Victoria Museum, but they're really, really quite small. But they are raptors, and I think that's more what this is hitting on.
Yeah.
I do have a couple of gripes with this stat block, but they're not super important.
What do you got?
The first one actually really, really fucking bugs me, and it's the hit points.
Yeah.
3d4 averaged out is 6 plus 3 is 9. It's not 10. I don't know why that bugs me so much. But that should be 9 hit points, not 10. I'm sure they just rounded it up for.
I think they always round up on that average, though. I think it's the.
But there's no rounding to be done on that average.
True.
That's 2 times 3, which is 6 plus 3. That's 9.
So they forcefully round.
Yeah. So I don't know why that's getting to me so much and why that's really standing out to me. The intelligence really, really bugs me. Because pack tactics aren't in, I get that it's a wisdom-based thing because this is, wisdom is the animal side and intelligence is the human side, and I get that, but I don't like it, and I don't agree with it, and I never have.
So I always
they have such.
I always think about that because I've had my own troubles in justifying and apologizing for that approach, and I always think about wisdom as instinct, pure instinct.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. But what we're I understand that this is probably instinct, but I don't. I can't relate to it being an instinct, and I can't imagine it being an instinct. At least for people, that this is a decision that's made, and I believe that dogs are smart enough that this is a decision that's made. I don't believe that dogs hunt in packs on instinct. I understand that it's their nature, but I think that that's an intelligence, and that's a conscious decision that they make because they're intelligent enough to make decisions.
We are also arguably referencing, one overriding the other. Instinct overriding what they know or have learned or have been taught.
So again, I get it.
That's what that's. I totally understand what you're saying, and that's why that intelligence versus wisdom is such a delicate line to sort of walk along. It's like, when do you decide that one is higher than the other? Because it's a very circumstantial scenario, a very subjective scenario in which one might be more prominent.
Yeah, and I understand in D&D it's defined as intelligence is learned, whereas wisdom is instinct. You're absolutely right there. That's 100% how it's separated. I just, whenever I see pack tactics, I just don't agree with that being a wisdom based.
Yeah,
I understand where it comes from. I just personally don't agree with it.
Yeah,
my second issue is this 1d6 bite. I think these should be reversed. I think it should be 1d6 claw and 1d4 bite.
Okay.
I understand that it's this way to reflect the CR, because you can have 3 multi-attack with 2d6 and 1d4.
Right.
At a CR 1/4. But based on these two images that I'm looking at, one is very Jurassic Park-esque and one is turkey on spring break after too many tequila shots. It is very clear in both of these images that the claw is going to do more damage than the bite.
Most interesting. And in fact, like even in Jurassic Park, they emphasize that, right?
Also, again, to be pedantic, I don't think that these are slashing claws. I think that these are piercing claws, because they jump on you and they dig them in.
Right.
But again, I understand that in D&D, one of the concessions that we make is that claws just do slashing damage.
Right.
Period. End of story. But I don't personally agree with that. If I was running these creatures, it would be piercing claws, and I would just remove the bite attack.
It's the Lucard all over again. Like, they have a bone ridge instead of teeth. So why is it doing piercing versus slashing? It's that all over again.
Exactly. And it's the bite versus the claw, and I think it's... I understand that it's there to simplify things, but if you're running a game, you're not really here for it to be simplified for you. I don't think there's any realism to be lost by changing it up every now and again between I get that when you write bite, you just control F piercing damage.
Right. Yeah.
But I don't agree with it. I'm sure it's probably just to make it simpler for DMs, but I also truly believe in my heart of hearts it's to make it easier on their editors.
Yeah, for sure. There is a certain mode they have to adhere to keep that simplicity intact.
Yeah, so I would make all those changes and just make it multi-attack, 2 attacks. If you're going to go with the turkey one, it's 2 attacks. If you're going to go with the Jurassic Park one, it's 3 attacks.
Yeah.
And it'd be a 1d4 bite.
The old turkey raptor.
I think that's a real thing.
At this point, I would not be surprised at all.
Okay, maybe not. Oh, turkey vulture is what I'm thinking of. Which vulture is a raptor, I guess.
Yeah. All right. Well, from here, since we're dividing this into 2, let's get into our homebrew dinosaurs. I don't know if you've had a sneak peek at mine yet, but
I haven't looked at yours at all.
Thank God.
Yeah, I've actually gone out of my way not to look at your dinosaur at all. So I don't know how you want to do this. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to kick off the home?
All right. Yeah. No. You go first for sure. Throw it at me. What do you got?
Okay. So I actually had a really hard.
Sorry. I gotta crack another beer for this.
Gosh,
because
smart.
it's a long day. We've been drinking, and we're into homebrew dinosaurs now. It's just getting outrageous.
It is. Yeah.
So throw me what you got.
Okay, so I had a really, really hard time deciding which dinosaur I was going to do. So my original thought was the Indominus Rex from Jurassic World.
I remember
because
that. Yep.
I love those movies. I don't love the new Jurassic movies, but Jurassic World is. I think it's fine. I don't think it's terrible. I don't think it's any worse than Jurassic Park 3. But there are a lot of stat blocks online for the Indominus Rex or the Indoraptor from Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. So if you go look, you can find those stat blocks online. So initially, after that, I was going to do the Stegoceratops, which is the other hybrid monster that we touched upon that actually got cut from the film.
Right.
But that just didn't do it for me. I wanted to do the biggest or the baddest or the fastest dinosaur. So I started looking up stuff like that, and none of those really did it for me either. So there's like the Pliosaurus, which is the greatest killer of all time. There's the Kronosaurus, which was what was going to be the Tyrannosaurus Rex in the original Jurassic Park. There was the Spinosaurus, which we touched on briefly in the Dimetrodon, which was the killer of in Jurassic Park 3. There was the Dracorex, which I touched upon earlier because I thought that was a really cool one. They were really angry. They've got those sweet, like, tiefling-style horns.
You're right, yeah.
But eventually I narrowed it down to 3. There's the Glyptodon, which is like this giant mole in a turtle shell, which isn't actually a dinosaur, so I decided against that. And if you want to know more about the Glyptodon, you can either Google it or listen to with that Small Beans show, What Dinosaur Real Good. They do a really solid Glyptodon episode.
Is that the one that's
that
related to the giant sloth, or am I just mixing that up?
It might be related to the giant sloth. Okay. They're in on the movie Ice Age. You'd know them to see them.
Okay.
They're like a giant turtle,
right?
I guess. Without actually looking like a turtle. Like if a mammal was a turtle, it'd be a Glyptodon.
Fair enough.
So my next choice was the Gelopterus. So this is a very, very small flying pterodon, I guess, or pterosaur. This is it has skin flaps. And it was like the vampire of the dinosaur world. So it would attach itself to like the underside of the Brontosaurus and drink their blood.
Hot damn.
So I thought they were really, really fucking cool. Mm-hmm. But I went back to the well and I kept rethinking it and I kept rethinking it and I kept coming back to the Mosasaurus. So the Mosasaurus is, I guess, the hero of Jurassic World.
Yep. Okay.
This is specifically the Mosasaurus hoffmanni. It's one of the largest creatures to ever exist. It's like the second or third largest reptile, and they're named after the Maesus River. Mosasaurus literally means lizard of the Maesus River, and they were of the Maastrichtian clade in the late Cretaceous. They're of the family Mosasaurs. So there are plenty of mosasaurs. They're not the only one. The Tylosaurus is a mosasaur. The earliest fossils date back from 1700. They were originally discovered by a man called William Daniel Conybeare in 1822, who I don't think we touched upon.
Okay, yeah.
So these are marine reptiles. They are not dinosaurs. So I just scrapped that completely.
Right.
So they're closest. So these things are what look like an alligator to me, or a crocodile. Yeah. And I'll send you some photos in the Discord.
Sure. And more so, very much more so than the Plesiosaurus, of course.
Definitely. Yeah. So these are like so there's a skeleton and a cranial diagram that I'm sending you. Yep. So these had long, thin snouts. They did have 4 fins, very similar to the plesiosaur, but that's just how they paddled. But they were much, much larger, and they had much longer heads. So these actually probably fed on plesiosaur and smaller mosasaurus, like the Tylosaur. The closest living relative is a widely debated topic. but they've narrowed it down to 2 different species. So in 2009, they were thought to be closest related to monitor lizards.
Okay.
But another study in 2016 now has them closest related to serpents. So these are technically in the order Serpentae, not in the order Pliosaur.
Gotcha.
So these are relatives of snakes. They had like a whale tail and these 4 propellers.
I genuinely love that some of this information is coming at in very recent years that we've come across. Like, I think that's super cool. You know, when you're a kid, you just think, oh, these things are old and we know these things. It's Jurassic Park. And like, no, they're still hammering away at this stuff, and it's so fascinating.
For sure. And one of the coolest things I think that relates them closer to Serpentae than monitor lizards is that they were actually probably ectothermic. So these were warm-blooded creatures. They weren't even cold-blooded.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, and
Crazy.
they definitely gave live birth. So they found mosasaur skeletons with smaller
You know what's funny?
infant mosasaurs inside of them.
Pretty much the first thing I thought of in that first picture you sent me is that they if you disregard the mouth and sort of face, I guess, they have a very whale/seal look to them, you know?
Yeah.
And you're like, it just kind of screams, water-bearing or water-dwelling mammalian creature, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. The other cool thing is if you look in that first picture, they weren't fins. They were actually fingers, and they think they might have been semi-dexterous.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fascinating. So, like, more webbed probably then, eh?
Yeah, so they think they were webbed right up until like where you and I would have our last joints on our fingers.
Yeah,
they think they were fins up until there, and then they had those last little digits.
That's super cool. Super cool. I'll have to make a deliberate effort to put that particular picture on the Instagram because I think that's really, really nifty.
Yeah, I really like that too. And one of my favorite things is that they were up to 17.6 meters or 58 feet long. These were the second or third largest aquatic reptile to ever exist.
What? That's unbelievable. How large is the blue whale? Hold on.
The blue whale's about that size, if not longer. So the blue whale's a mammal, and it's the largest living creature we've ever existed, I think.
Like we've ever seen, or oh my god, that's unreal. Hot damn. I love it. I love it. What a great choice.
Yeah, female blue whale is 25 meters.
Jeez.
So this is just under 10 meters shy of a blue whale, but it's still about as long as a 6-story building.
Mm-hmm. No biggie. I'm just nature.
Yeah.
Get out of the way.
For sure.
Crazy.
So we can estimate that they weighed about 50 to 60,000 kilograms.
Oh, man. So cool. Absolutely so cool.
And that size is reflected in Jurassic Park: The Lost World, where there's a couple of scenes with the mosasaur where one just eats the Indominus Rex whole at the very end.
Yeah.
There's also a scene earlier
hence
where you get a better reference where it eats a 20-foot-long great white shark.
Oof, yeah. Oh, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, so it eats a shark the size of a regular sedan, just like you or I eating a piece of taffy. Like,
oh, man. So cool. I love that. I absolutely love that.
Yeah. So after not wanting to take this seriously at all, I decided to take it very, very seriously.
Cool.
Well,
I'm glad you did because I took it the least amount of serious I could.
Right. Also, the opening scene of Jurassic Park Fallen Kingdom, like the pre-credit scene where they're on the island trying to get the Tyrannosaurus, where they're on the island trying to get the Indominus Rex rib from the bottom of the ocean.
Right, yeah.
That horror scene with the mosasaur, like straight out of the abyss, is one of the greatest scenes in movies I've ever seen in my life. It set such a high bar for the rest of that movie that the whole series together could not live up to.
I remember you telling me the intro was like so good, and then I watched it and I was like, I get it, it's not bad, you know, but I was also like, I was all worked up, and I'd already watched the fucking first one, and I was already so disappointed. Yeah. It was like just a bad combo for me. I didn't appreciate it at all because
that's fair.
I was already pissed off.
Yeah, I think that scene is so choice where they let the mosasaur out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's probably just the dino nerd in you, just loving it, eh?
Yeah, and like there's something about sea creatures that I really love, and like specifically large and powerful sea creatures. Like I'm just in awe of this thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's like 17.6 meters long.
Crazy.
Like,
absolutely crazy. Like, yeah.
It blows my mind that something that large could exist.
You know, the blue whale's bigger, but like it can only like eat krill. You know?
Yeah. Like I've been diving and stuff like that. And like the largest thing I've ever swam with is a giant sea turtle. And those things are like 7 feet long.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So like I just don't have any perspective for something that's even half as long as 17.6 meters.
Yeah. It's
like an elephant's pretty big, but I don't think it's 58 feet big.
It genuinely hurts my brain. When I was doing the research on this episode, I was just thinking like, wow, all of these creatures existed somewhere in and around the same time, and they're all so massive. Like with a couple of small exceptions, they are all enormous. And like just how normal the world must have been with large creatures, you know, it's just like, you know, we imagine them as big and lumbering, but like they just moved at what might have been considered a normal pace for a huge amount of the world's living population. Like it's such a crazy thing to like wrap your head around. Really fascinating.
Right. And these things probably hunted in shallower waters too, which is crazy.
Okay.
So they would have eaten like plesiosaur, like Chronosaurus, pliosaurs, like smaller mosasaurs. Like they would have been fishing in shallower waters. So the last photo I sent you was probably pretty fucking accurate. You know, this 58 meter long thing swimming in, you know, 30 meter deep waters. Like,
yeah,
like that's just a regular fucking beach depth, you know?
So gnarly. Yeah.
That's the deep end of a pool.
Absolutely insane.
And you know, like these are, and on top of that, they were probably endothermic. So like, not only were they swimming close to the surface, they were warm-blooded aquatic reptiles, which I don't know if we have any other examples of.
Yeah.
So they really, the more research I did on them, the more they struck me.
Yeah. So cool. Well, tell me about their stat block then. Let's get into that. This is a James Kidd homebrew stat block.
I didn't actually make up anything whole cloth, really.
Okay.
I did some tweaks, but to be fair, this stat block is based on the giant toad and the Leviathan from 5e.
Okay.
So I have it listed as a CR 18.
Oof, yep. Big.
300 HP, which I think is pretty accurate.
Okay.
And an AC of 18, which I think is more indicative of larger animals. I get that armor class is your ability to be hit, but these things were also very, very fast. Like they were keeping up to, you know, smaller plesiosaur and stuff like that. So they weren't slow creatures.
Sure.
I have it as gargantuan, neutral beasts, or whatever the dinosaurs are.
Be unaligned, essentially.
Unaligned. Yeah. So I have it as an unaligned
actual
beast.
alignment. Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't know any languages. Because it's so large, I gave it an 80-foot swim speed because I think that's more than reasonable.
Okay.
That it can move, you know, not even twice as long as it is in one turn.
Mm-hmm.
I gave it DR because I think this is, again, we talked about this earlier. I think things with harder skin deserve some sort of DR. So I give it DR to piercing, bludgeoning, slashing from non-magical sources.
Right.
Because it's an oceanic creature, I also gave it damage immunity to cold.
Oh, okay. Sure.
because I imagine it would be swimming a little bit deeper down and stuff like that to hunt some of the slower creatures.
Okay.
I gave it the immunity condition to exhausted, frightened, prone, grappled, and restrained. Prone, grappled and restrained because it's a gargantuan creature. Prone because it's an aquatic creature. Frightened because it has a lower intelligence, and exhausted because even sharks still swim when they sleep.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Those are also very similar to the Leviathan condition immunities, though I did take some out. Dark vision 120 feet, because if you look at that skeleton, the skull thing I sent, it's theorized that it was able to hunt via electromagnetic pulses, very similar to a shark or a crocodile.
Right.
So I thought that was justified. Also, Leviathan is dark vision 120 feet, so there's some precedent for it. The stats are pretty much the same as the Leviathan. I changed a couple of things to make the numbers a little bit cleaner. Strength is 30 or plus 10. Dex is 27 plus 7. Con is 27 plus 7. Intelligence is 6 or minus 2. Wisdom is 18 plus 4. Charisma is 17 plus 3.
Ooh, why is the charisma so high? What are you imagining there?
Honestly, I just ripped that straight from the Leviathan. Right. I figured something else needed to be a little bit not as punchy as the strength, the dex, and the con to justify that CR 18. But there's nothing. I think the charisma is probably okay. Now that I'm reflecting on it, I think the charisma is that high for intimidation.
Okay, sure. Now I imagine, and I think this is where the blurred lines come from intelligence and wisdom into charisma, and those less tangible stats. And there's a part of me that always imagines that intimidation requires a certain amount of wisdom or intelligence. One, it's like I know I'm intimidating, or I'm instinctually intimidating.
Right.
You know what I mean? So.
I
like,
do.
With that particular
I like that, but that's not how I think about it at all.
Yeah. Okay.
I think there's the active intimidation, but I think there's also the passive intimidation.
Right.
Like, if you saw this creature in the wild, you would be intimidated by it. It wouldn't have to do anything to you.
I couldn't agree more. I think passive intimidation makes a whole bunch of sense, but it's also something that should be, again, it's the playing with the player's psyche. It's how you describe it, and I'm not 100% sold on that it should be reflected in their stat block. Passive intimidation, passive perception, passive possibly investigation, passive insight. Like, we know those things loosely exist in various editions. Passive intimidation, I'm not 100% sure should allow it to have a higher charisma, because we know charisma is adapted into also persuasion, performance, and deception and what have you.
No, I understand. There's just no differentiation in 5e specifically. Like, there's no the difference between active and passive doesn't exist.
Right.
So even if this creature was passively intimidating, which I believe it is,
right,
in order to use the intimidation mechanic, it would need to have a charisma base
for sure. Yeah.
And that's a flaw in the system.
100%.
I agree with you completely that they should not be tied in.
Yeah.
I think intimidation should be tied in. Should be its own mechanic, like its own passive mechanic.
Yeah.
But I'm not here to. Well, I guess I am here to redesign Dungeons & Dragons.
We are a bit, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So maybe if I were to go back and change this, and I would just dump the charisma and then give it like a passive frighten ability.
Yeah, that's where I was going with it too, for sure.
Okay.
I was going to say so, like, give it something else in its traits that makes it terrifying. And even we kind of discussed it earlier. You know, like it's hard to give this one like a sort of fear effect, if you will. Because it's not really a magical creature, that, you know, it doesn't make a lot of sense. But in this case, maybe it does. It doesn't necessarily have to be a magical effect, but, you know, it's something that's like, you know, really even mechanically puts pause into the PCs.
Yeah, I like that. I don't necessarily love. I like the idea that this is just a beast swimming around. Doing its thing, and that if it were to come at you, it could intimidate you, and that's when I would roll that intimidation check.
Right.
But again, that's not it actively intimidating you. It's the things it's doing intimidating you, which is where that check would come into play.
Right. Yeah.
Because I don't ever want to tell you how your character feels about something.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you should be intimidated by it based on my descriptions, but that doesn't mean your character is.
Yeah. It's worth comparing to the Brontosaurus, the other gargantuan dinosaur, and that, you know, and its sort of D&D description is that it's, you know, most things don't bother attacking it because of its size. Like, you know, it's just straight up intimidating from its size alone, which is what you basically described to me just now. You know, but there is no mechanic registered.
But this opens you up to use that intimidation as a mechanic.
100%. Yeah, absolutely.
So I see where you're coming from, and I totally agree with you. But I also see, you know, if you've got a particularly brave and lesser intelligent creature, you know, I would never roll a persuasion check for the mosasaur, or you know, like it's your job as the DM not to abuse that +3 in a diplomacy check.
Right.
Like it's your job to use that specifically to intimidate your players, to make it appear like you're trying to warn them off from the encounter.
Absolutely. I think you nailed it on the head when you said it's what it is a flaw in the system. There's very as much reason to have a low charisma in this creature as there is a high one, based on everything we've talked about. And and they will, I think, standardly wizards will always go low in this situation just to avoid tempting a DM into abusing that. And that's not necessarily a mistake, but it is an obvious flaw in the system, as you said. So I think
it's Shadowrun that you have a. It's not charisma. Like you have your active charisma, and then you have a negative passive thing that negatively impacts those, like where you're scarred or you've got a pallor from being a drug addict. And I think it's Shadowrun 3E that has it. I'm ready to be corrected.
Yeah.
But I like. In depth, I think that's a better mechanic, but that's also a PC mechanic. That's not a creature or NPC mechanic. You know?
I vaguely remember applying a similar thing in a backup Pathfinder 1E character that I never got to play, and that they had a very scarred face, so I picked a deliberate flaw. But I also
flaw or a drawback.
Yeah, it's exactly, a drawback, and so there was a huge reduction to charisma and stuff based on sight. But then I also employed having a mask that was like beautifully constructed, and like it properly went into my character's, like, you know, build cost, you know, to have this mask available. Yeah, it's an interesting concept. So
I think there are options there if you really want to fuck with it, but like this doesn't. I don't want to say it's not worth it, but I that's legitimately kind of how I feel. Is I don't feel like it's worth nerfing this thing's charisma, because you as a DM should be smart enough not to try and use a performance check from the mosasaur, unless you're playing Jurassic World, the D&D game, like, in which case, you know, it does perform.
It genuinely does.
It genuinely performs. Well, so like
trained to do certain things. I don't want to
tell you how to run your game, and I also don't want to tell you how to play your character.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the high charisma is justified.
Yeah. For sure.
But speaking of abilities, I give it legendary resistance because I fucking love that mechanic so hard.
Do you?
I limited it to once per day as opposed to the Leviathan, which is 3 times per day, and it's once per day. It can choose to succeed on a save it would otherwise fail, which I think that's fine. Yeah.
Giving it once per day, I'm not going to whine too much. As a general rule, I despise that mechanic. I think it's just a shit way to make something powerful. It's not.
I think 3 per day is too much.
And we've 100% talked about this before, and in a fairly recent episode. I don't remember which one it was. We've definitely covered this, and our griefs with it. But it's just a shit way to increase the CR as far as I'm concerned. But I mean, once per day, I really don't mind. 3 per day, I'm with you. It's just ridiculous.
So my rationale behind this was, once per day, you can look your players directly in the eyes without rolling dice behind your screen and just be like, it succeeds. And I think that in itself is a subtle intimidation tactic.
Yeah.
that a DM can use to really show off the power of this creature. And
Yeah.
I think that is justified.
It's a certain
without actually having to make an intimidation check and be like, this is how your character feels, this is how you feel. I think this is a solid way to strike fear into the hearts of your PCs without overpowering the creature itself by giving it, 3 times per day is kind of fucking boring, but once per day being able to look your cleric in the eyes and be like, no, it just succeeds on your fireball. Oh, you didn't roll any dice. Oh, didn't I?
Yeah. See, I love that. A little secretive behind the screen, like intimidation tactic. Really, really cool. It makes them question, like, oh shit, what have I gone wrong? What am I going to do? It makes them rethink a thousand things. I think that the biggest grief that that you and I experienced together in recent history was, when we did experience it, it was me and you and at least 1 or 2 other DMs in the group, and we were players, and it was like, the whole screen was open, so it was like, oh, we were being told they used their legendary resistance, and we're like, okay, no surprise to us that they have that and that sort of thing. But there was a certain level of like immersion breaking, and there was a debate on the rules and whether or not that decision was made based on what was like, presented as the spell being cast. And so to use it in that regard, like you just described, I love that. That's great.
I think it should be used as a DM on player, like a metagaming intimidation tactic. I think when you use it as a crutch, you've got real problems.
I'm all for transparency and like showing behind that screen, but sometimes when you do it in the moment, it actually hurts. And when you do it after the fact, it's a little bit, I love that reveal after the fact, I guess. I love that reassurance of like, oh, that's how that worked. That's why that went that way. Oh, that's super cool. But when you're in that moment, when you're in that immersion, you're in that role play, you want that intimidation factor and you want that scary moment. Was it the fire?
I actually prefer when my DMs roll behind the screen.
Yeah.
Like because of that, because my character doesn't know, and it helps me when I don't know. And like there's... You know that there's something so much more thrilling about not being able to pin down exactly what fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Hell of a thing. But I mean, once per day, I'm not gonna chastise you for that. Legendary resistance once per day, cool. Like first thing you throw at it, it just shrugs it off. You're like, shit, what am I gonna do? Yeah. That's your fear effect already.
Yeah, and again, that's a metagaming tactic. Like I know as a player I metagame. I know most of my players metagame a little bit. But I think legendary resistance once per day as a metagaming defense or like counter tactic, I think it could be very valuable, especially when you're fighting something that's. But this is probably not a CR18. It's probably closer to a CR16 or 17. But I think it could be fun once per day just to lay your dice down and look your player in the eye and just be like, nope, it's good.
It's fine. Yeah. All right. Well, let's get to the rest of the meat and potatoes of this thing.
Yeah, so this is where this creature starts to go south hard and fast for literally everyone involved. I decided I wasn't going to pull my punches on this creature because I consistently chastise D&D for pulling their punches. So I gave it a multi-attack, 1 bite and 1 swallow because apparently I hate my players. So the bite is exactly the same as the Leviathan at the same CR rating. It's a plus 16 to hit, 20-foot reach, 10d10 plus 10 piercing. So if you do the math, that's not huge. That's 60 piercing damage on 1 attack. And technically it only has that 1 damage dealing attack.
Right.
The problem is if it hits with that attack, the target is grappled. It is then a DC 18 escape artist. Is that what it is in?
Just escape DC. So it's
escape DC.
Yeah.
Yep. To get out of the bite, otherwise you're grappled. The problem is that I stole the swallow attack from the giant toad.
Yeah.
So it is a plus 16 to hit versus a creature that it's grappling. If it hits the target is swallowed.
Right.
Obviously, that's not going to be good. When swallowed, the target is blinded, restrained, and has total cover. On the start of the Mosasaurus' turn, it takes 5d10 acid damage. Also not huge. If the mosasaur dies, the target is no longer restrained and can escape from the corpse using 15 feet of swim movement. And that's 15 feet per round maximum.
Right.
Is how that works. The mosasaur being a gigantic creature, that could be a lot of feet.
Yes.
But I also don't absolutely hate my players, so I decided to include rules from breaking out from the inside. I have not seen these in 5th edition.
I don't think they exist.
But the rules are when you're grappled and restrained, you should be able to attack with a one-handed item.
Right.
Especially in a creature this large. I don't think the stomach cavity of a mosasaur would be small enough that you as a medium-sized creature would not have room to swing a dagger.
Right.
So I gave the stomach an internal AC of 15.
Mm-hmm.
An HP of 100, but the last 50 of that HP has damage reduction, same as the mosasaur to non-magical, which I thought was a nice touch because I've never seen that before either.
So is your damage reduction based on the fact that you're getting through the flesh and now into the
into the scales?
The scales, okay.
Yeah.
So I have 3 full things to say about this.
Yeah, please.
One. I love that your escape is swim movement of 15 feet because it's very likely you've been swallowed underwater and with water. So I think that's just a nice little touch.
Thank you.
I would change the multi-attack into if the bite manages to grapple, it can swallow you as a bonus action. I think just. I think
that might be too much.
I think that it, just the way stat blocks work in 5e, the order of operations would work better, and then have a caveat that if like one creature swallowed, another one can't be. For example, also add that on top.
I did not want. I specifically did not want that caveat.
Okay, you wanted to avoid that. Okay. So
which is why I added the to hit. So
it's the only thing that's tripping me up is that swallow is part of the multi attack, and then it just but the multi attack just doesn't exist if the grapple doesn't happen. You know what I mean? So it's almost
if the target's hit, it doesn't. Yeah.
It's
again,
almost either way, the multi attack is it's either going to happen because they're grappled or if they avoid it or they escape it or anyway. Right. Not a well thought out thing on my end, but just gut instinct. But the thing that stands out most for me is I would totally change the damage resistance on the stomach to a regurgitate. Once a minimum amount of damage, instead of having once you get past 50 hit points, it's damage resistance because you're getting to the scales and the skin. I would instead have once a minimum amount of damage done from the inside occurs, it pukes you up as a reaction, as a reaction to the damage being done into its innards.
Okay, I love that. I think that's perfect.
That's what I would do. Yeah.
My biggest concern with that was the distance from the neck to the stomach, as you can see in that skeletal. Mm-hmm. But that's way better. I like that. But that's way cleaner.
The thrust alone would be amazing. And then if you really want to still keep it really dangerous, have all the stomach acid come out too. So you can keep that acid damage and just turn it into a fucking spray attack, or a breath attack. You're attacking from the inside, you do a certain minimum of damage, and then it just pukes you up. But anything in front of it just gets covered in acid as well.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I think it'd be really fun.
And if you'll allow me to defend the multi-attack.
Yeah, no, totally, because that one's the one I'm shakiest on for sure.
Yeah, so my first is that it's a plus 16 to hit, so that's pretty close to a gimme, even at that level.
Yeah.
ACs don't get a whole lot higher than 20 in 5e, so it's pretty close to a gimme roll to hit. I also needed 2 points of failure in order to justify restraining, blinding, and essentially taking a PC out of combat. So at 18th level, you're not just taking one action out of combat, you're taking between 2 and 3, maybe even 4 attacks, much less movements and bonus actions, completely out of the round. So I needed at least 2 points of failure to justify reducing the PC's action economy by, realistically, based on how CRs work, 25%.
Right. Okay.
So giving it, a plus 16 to hit, we're still, we're looking at maybe a 25% chance failure, 25 to 30, maybe 35 on the high end percent chance of failure on these rolls, period. So I wanted it to be devastating if it hit, but I also wanted to give them that opportunity to not be swallowed and just be grappled in the mouth, because then they could essentially break out of it.
Sure.
The problem is if you grapple them and you include an escape DC and then they just auto swallow, what's the point of including that escape DC? What's the point of including that grappled mechanic? It's just, that's one attack. The creature's bitten and then swallowed.
Okay. And in that case,
there's another mechanic called swallow whole, which I also looked at.
Oh, okay. So
which totally negates the bite mechanic. Yeah, so I want this to really, really hurt a PC. Like 60 piercing damage and then 25 acid damage. Like that. That's going to essentially take a PC down about halfway in one turn. So when you get hit, I want you to feel it.
Right.
Like if you get bitten, the threat of death is really, really high. But there are 2 points of failure here, which I absolutely needed to have in order to justify essentially killing a PC.
Yeah.
The theory, the chances of a PC getting out of this swallow are almost zero.
Right.
With the way it's written, with the AC 15, HP essentially 150. I mean, realistically 175 at the last. The last bit, or 125. So we've got an AC 15, HP 125. When you're taking 25 damage around, the chances of you getting out are very, very slim.
Right.
So I needed to have that second point of
totally.
failure in order to justify everything else being so high.
Yeah, well defended on that. Let me just ask, does the giant toad have multi-attack, or is that this is where you've...
No, the giant toad has one bite, or one grapple, and then one swallow.
Yeah, okay.
They're two separate attacks.
Okay.
The giant toad's only like a CR2, though.
Yeah. I think that's well defended. I think that makes a lot of sense. I think if you couple that, what you have here, with my regurgitate thing, you could have a really interesting scenario, because you could have,
I like
you
the
could
regurgitate
have
a lot
multiple
better than the internal HP.
PCs being swallowed at the same time, but then you also increase the chance of them all being ejected as they're attacking inside. So it creates a really crazy scenario. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, so I think I'll adjust this for the regurgitate, and that's what we'll publish when this episode drops.
Wicked.
Because I like that way better.
That instead of the damage resistance inside, I think that would work really, really well.
Yeah. But the rest of it, I really did put 3 or 4 days, 5 to 10 hours into the attacks specifically of this stat block, just to make sure they're semi-balanced. Because they're not. If you get hit, you are fucked.
Yeah.
But
I love it. So good. And this is a CR18, so you're not a low level when you're fighting this thing, so...
And that's what I wanted to make sure. I wanted to make sure there were consequences for getting hit by this thing.
Yeah.
If you're in the water, you fucked up. If you get hit by this thing, you fucked up.
You're done fucked up.
If you get hit a second time by this thing, you're probably going to die. And I want, those are the 3 points of failure that I wanted to have on this creature.
I love it. I absolutely love it. We're going to move on real quick now, but...
Okay.
I'll give you a quick chance to defend 2 other things, I guess, that have just come to me. One, I would give a really minor land speed to this creature instead of 0. Super minor, 5 feet.
It's a fully, but it's an aquatic creature.
Yeah.
Mosasaurus didn't have. They were fully aquatic creatures.
It's a part of me that would just want to give it a trait that's so long as it's partially submerged, it has a speed of 5 feet. But once it's away from the water, it's fucked. And that would be a really unique trait to give a creature. You wouldn't see that anywhere else. But there's a part of me that wants to get that, to be able to give it the ability to lunge onto a beach, in a way,
right?
And just try to justify that a little bit mechanically. That's where my brain's at. The only other thing is that I'm not sold on the cold immunity, simply because a lot of the IRL stuff you said is it is a shallow water dwelling creature, and you justified it with it possibly diving deeper to acquire food. But
that's fair.
Yeah, there's nothing to me that says that. I just feel like it's a redundant immunity. Not that it doesn't necessarily fit, but it just doesn't need to be there.
Okay. I get where you're coming from with that. So I have two, I guess, points on the cold damage. The first is that, again, basing this off the Leviathan stat block, it was immune to acid and poison, which I just don't think makes sense at all for an underwater creature. I think those are just the two default Wizards of the Coast things to be immune to, and I think that's straight up horseshit. Because you could easily poison a large reptile or burn it with acid. Acid is easily going to flow through water, it being defined as a liquid. So I could not fuck with that. My other point was that no matter how deep water gets, the temperature starts to reduce pretty exponentially. Even though it hunts in shallower waters, doesn't mean it lives there. We don't really have any idea of where it lives. And the idea of heat being dispersed through a liquid medium is something we see every day in our lives, whether it be like water cooling in a PC or something like that. So I just imagine that anything beyond 30 feet would just freeze solid and sink before even reaching to a mosasaur. I just don't imagine that the cold would transfer that well through water, you know?
But okay, so it's a matter of that cold like following through the water itself. And that's what grants the immunity to the creature?
Yeah, I don't want to... I guess it's more of a half-cocked way of giving the creature an extra level of immunity, but I just... without having to change the environment, because, you know, ice crystals can flow through water and shit like that. And that, you know, that works. That makes sense to me, but it doesn't fully flow to me, because a creature of this high CR needs some sort of immunity, and I just could not figure out what it would be other than cold, you know, because it's such a large creature, even though it is an endotherm like whales or whatever.
So this is
it could dive pretty deep.
Because I was about to bring that up too. You're like, oh, you even said it was endothermic, so that's yet another reason for it to not stand to reason. And again, like another counterpoint to that is that you already have mechanics or loose mechanics in 5e regarding whether or not something is fire or magical fire. So it's like if you're shooting magical frost through the water, I don't think it would matter whether or not it survives the impact and the location of being in the water. I'm sort of with you, and I think this is where we have possibly another evidence of the failure of the system. In that we don't have damage reduction for magic. Like, we don't really at all. We just have damage reduction for physical with non-magical weapons, but there's no, like, half damage, or there's very rare half damage for cold or magical effects and stuff like that. I mean, they exist, obviously, but it's maybe in this instance is where I would say that makes more sense than immunity. You know what I mean? Right.
And you're absolutely right. Like, if it were me and I was running an underwater encounter, I don't really think I'd play with the cold immunity. What I would do is all of your ice-based spells, like Ice Dagger, Icicle, Cone of Cold, all that, their range is just halved.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Sure. No, see, that I love that. That's great.
Right.
And that's
but
a more environmental
as a
scenario.
Designer,
as opposed to a creature stat block.
But I'm not designing an encounter. I'm designing a creature.
Right. Yeah. 100%.
And that's where that compromise comes in for me here specifically.
Makes sense. Food for thought for sure. Especially for listening DMs. You know, your environment is significant. It's a huge part of your encounter. Stat blocks seldom reflect your environment, if ever. So,
yeah, I would say never.
Yeah.
But so that's kind of my justification there, is that I'm not writing this stat block for me. I'm writing it for other DMs, and the easiest way to reflect how I believe ice would transfer through water is just to give it immunity to cold,
which is the greatest apologist explanation for a lot of wizard stat blocks. You know, they are built for just the creature. All of them. Yeah, you're not wrong. Yeah.
Like, it's not their job to, you know, there's a reason Matt Colville says encounter design doesn't stop when you roll initiative.
Right.
And I vehemently believe that with all of my being, is that every turn, every initiative roll, every dice roll, the encounter changes. And it's up to you as the DM to map and alter that encounter as it changes.
Yeah, 100%.
This is just one of those, this is my way of reflecting how I believe this creature would be encountered in a stat block.
Yeah.
Like, there's a reason it doesn't have a land speed, is because I don't... maybe this creature does killer whale shit in your world and it snaps up onto the beach and it flows back out to the ocean. But I don't know how to reflect that in a stat block other than giving it 0 land speed. Like if I give it a 10-foot land speed, you're going to think it can flop around.
Oh, like it's no big deal. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, and that's not it. Like it's not an iguanodon. It's not a Spinosaurus. It doesn't have. It's not a land-dwelling creature. It doesn't breathe oxygen. Right. I think is really what it comes down to.
As far as we know. Yeah. That's why I was it should be more of a trait than an actual speed. Like as long as I said some portion, realistically, at least half of its body is submerged in water. It does have a land speed, but that's a caveat. And when you have a token or a pawn on a map, you can very easily determine when half of it's in the water and half of it's not. It's not difficult to do.
And that's up to you guys. Like I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to influence your encounter. I'm just trying to give you something to encounter.
Yeah, absolutely.
You might even say, I just want you to encounter this.
Get out.
I am hammered, bro.
Who are you? I'm not sober either. Let's be honest. Okay, this is the perfect time to segue to my dinosaur.
Okay. How serious did you take it? I went hard on the.
Have you found? Did you find the PDF I posted? Did you?
Yeah.
It's called Baby Sinclarosaurus. This is.
For those of you who are not, for those of you millennials out there like the rest of us, Freeman is going to explain the shit out of this.
Baby Sinclair is a character from the American sitcom made with practical effects Muppets and Puppets called Dinosaurs.
I don't think we can say Muppets.
I think we can. I think we're fine.
I think okay.
I think Muppet is a type of puppet or a type of.
Yes, you are absolutely right. It is a type of puppet.
I don't think Muppet
by
is
the Jim Henson Studio.
Yeah. Regardless, and the famous Kevin Clash voiced Baby Sinclair. He was the creator of Elmo, and Dinosaurs was a really weird and lame and strange sitcom from the 90s.
And it had one of the best endings ever.
It had some of the most iconic moments, and the most iconic character of that show had to be Baby Sinclair, which was...
Do you remember how that series ended?
I don't at all, to be honest, no.
The meteor strikes and they go extinct.
Oh, that's right. Oh, I do remember that. Oh, it's so good. What a perfect way to end that show. That show covered loads of things. It covered actual social issues. It covered even indigenous territory issues with cave people. No joke.
Yep.
It covered racial issues with different species of dinosaurs. Baby Sinclair was actually named. That was the official name of the dinosaur, the character, named by the village elder. Oh, its name is Baby.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, literally. There's so much weird shit related to that show, and I decided that Baby Sinclair deserved a stat block.
It's hard to argue with that.
So we have Baby Sinclairosaurus. A tiny beast. I gave Baby Sinclairosaurus an alignment. It's chaotic neutral, which I think stands to the character. Anyone who's genuinely unfamiliar with this character, just go look up some trailers. Go look up Baby Sinclair. You'll get a bunch of videos, and you'll get an idea of how annoying this creature is. And I've given it an AC boost compared to the other dinosaurs, 15. Natural armor with its eggshell that it sits in.
Right.
It's still got very low hit points. I've modeled a lot of this off the Velociraptor stat block. So it's only got 10 HP. It's got zero speed. Does not move. Sits in the eggshell, reasonably high AC.
In the high chair, yeah.
In the high chair. And so... Pretty much its ability scores are almost identical to the Velociraptor. It's got a little bit of higher reception. I gave it the ability to speak every single language, except that it can only utter the phrases Again, I'm the baby, gotta love me, and not the mama.
This was the first instance I can remember of a catchphrase being introduced into pop culture. I know it, I'm sure it happened earlier in pop culture, but like where this was airing in reruns is when I was alive and watching it. Like it was this and Jaleel White. Did I do that?
Yeah. 100%. I'm right there with you. No, embarrassingly, when I was a child, I had no idea he was saying not the mama. Instead, I thought he was saying knock the mama. And I thought he was misinterpreting his father as his mama the whole time.
Oh.
So, like, that's how I interpreted it. So I thought he was just, like, okay with hitting his mother, but he thought his father was his mother. And it wasn't until, like, my adulthood that I realized that, no, he was just mad that it wasn't his mother. And I was like, wow, that makes way more sense. So that's embarrassing, weirdo. Challenge rating, I literally have no idea because I just went to town on the traits here. I have no idea where to put this. First trait is I'm the baby, gotta love me. And any creature that attacks baby Sinclairasaurus thinks twice before striking a child, causing the attacker to roll with disadvantage.
Oh my god.
Pretty big thing there. The next one is not the mama. The baby Sinclairus attacks with advantage if its mother is not in line of sight.
Wow.
Again, bearing in mind, this creature can't move, so you could just step away and call it a day. And then they also have this was sort of a needed thing: improvised weapon utensil. The baby Sinclairasaurus can use any object no larger than a frying pan and no smaller than a wooden spoon as an improvised weapon, and is considered proficient with this weapon.
Love it.
As far as actions go, they have, again, the baby Sinclairasaurus makes 3 attacks, 1 with its ankle bite and 2 with its improvised weapon utensil. Essentially, it's multi-attack. Again, this is highly reflective of the Velociraptor.
I love it. I cannot imagine this thing ankle biting and then hitting with a frying pan in the same attack round.
So ankle bite, basically, +4 to hit, 1d6 +2 piercing, nothing special, and the improvised weapon utensil. Which, I mean, realistically, I actually imagine many of these in a cave. Surrounded by bones, so like they pick up a bone and they start swinging and trying to bite ankles, and so you're like trying to navigate your way through a cave and trying to stay yourself from attacking them because you are rolling with a disadvantage and they're rolling with advantage because assuming you're in that cave while the mother's absent. That's my baby Sinclairasaurus, more or less.
Oh my god. I mean, I like most of it. I think the language is fantastic. All of your little flourishes, I think, are fantastic. Renaming multi-attack to again, just fucking perfect. I love it. The only thing I would change is under I'm the baby, gotta love me. Mm-hmm. I would change it to any attacker who is not on the evil spectrum. So if you've got like a lawful evil tiefling, it could probably attack the child without disadvantage.
So you're really pushing a more Pathfinder aspect in there where alignment like is more tangible.
For this, yes, because I believe alignment should be more tangible.
Right.
Also, like, I personally feel like I could hit a child twice if it yelled, "I'm the baby, you gotta love me."
This is why I nicknamed you. What was it? The result of Practical Effects Kid.
Yeah, I mean, I've never had a better nickname in my life.
Amazing. Okay, I mean, I would consider it if it were not 5e. I think it's a great piece of constructive criticism, but as far as 5e standards go, I won't make that change. But I do really like it. Fair. I do really like it. That is 100% something that a DM should consider. If one of your players is evil in alignment, you could give that exception to them without explaining it. And you'd be like, okay, I'm going to attack one. You're like, okay, you do like disadvantage. You're like, nope. Oh,
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, other than that, I think it's fantastic.
Highly unemployable, but really, really fun.
I would say not employable at all, but yeah, this is like pure fan service. And
yeah,
I appreciate that.
Good, I'm glad.
I was pretty like I don't know what it is, but like I was pretty sure you were gonna stat out like one of the Zords like.
Oh yeah, one of the
oh
my god! I'm surprised you
Tyrannosaurus Zord. I thought about it. I'm a big Green Ranger fan. Yeah. I really thought about statting out the Dragon Zord, but there's no dinosaur there.
Oh, so funny. Well, I'll finish. We'll finish this episode on a simple fun fact that comes from the Dinosaur Show. The creator of that show, Michael Jacobs, said that the popularity of Baby contributed to the network allowing the creators to run the show as they saw fit, stating, "As long as the baby hits his father over the head with a pot, we could use that to hide anything."
Oh my god.
And honestly, that quote right there makes me want to watch the show again to like really see if they hid some crazy shit. Because I bet you they did. Because that's coming from the creator quoting the producers of ABC.
Yeah, that's pretty intense.
That's intense. They must have some hilarious shit hidden behind the abuse of Baby Sinclair to his father. I think it's
or some like Earl. Really poignant shit.
Yeah,
Earl. Yeah, it's Earl. Yeah.
Too funny. So there you have it. There's our extraordinarily long episode of Dinosaurs. Thanks, Aaron.
We've been recording for almost 4.5 hours now.
Yep. Straight through, drinking straight through. Hopefully it's salvageable at this point.
Yeah, at least minorly coherent.
Happy end of 2020.
Yeah.
Happy New Year 2021. And all that jazz.
Yeah. And if you liked it and you've got a creature you want us to hear, patreon.com/encounterpod. For $5 a month, you'll get a handwritten thank you letter and access to our show notes, including the PDFs of at least a Mosasaur. We're unsure of the legalities of the rest of these now that I've seen what Dinosaur Freeman did. I do not think that we own this baby dinosaur, so I'm not 100% sure we can release the stat block to our paid members, but at some point we will release it to our fans at large 100%.
I mean, unlike our what little behind the paywall things we have, I feel like if we just release all this for free, we'll probably be okay.
Yeah.
We're not going to be targeted, at least.
Still going to look into it.
Yeah.
But if you want to make us sit down and record for 4.5 hours, you can request a suite or a single creature, which would be much preferred, for $10 a month or more. If you want to get at us, correct any of the names we've said wrong, which is all of them, I'm sure, you can hit us up on facebook.com/encounterpod, instagram.com/encounter.pod for some of these dope plesiosaur and mosasaur photos, twitter.com/encounterpod, where you can hit me up for any of the things I said or did wrong. I'm pretty hammered at this point, so I don't know what they are anymore. Or you can check us out at our home on our web at encounterthis.ca, where you can find other things. That's probably where we're going to end up releasing most of these stat blocks to the general public, just because we cannot legally release them behind a paywall.
Definitely not.
Definitely not. But if you liked it, please leave us a rating and review on your platform of choice. It really helps new people find us and new people get interested. If you're interested in hearing any more about it, the topics we talked about, take a look in that show description. We'll have links to stuff you missed in history, stuff you should know, what dinosaur real good, and possibly the Imaginary Worlds episode that Freeman may or may not have mentioned in this particular episode.
I'll probably link to an excerpt, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that'd be great. And if you like dinosaurs, make sure to tell a friend, tell a paleontologist, tell an ornithologist. Just tell literally anyone.
Tweet at
about
Bill
us.
Bailey.
And that helps us out immensely. Like you could not believe getting more listeners on the show helps us out fantastically. And every new listener is one new set of years closer to us getting that coveted Strange Fellows sponsorship, where we no longer have to pay for our own beers while we get hammered and record this show.
Wouldn't that be great?
Be fantastic. But thank you so much, dear listeners, for sticking with us through our first full year of shows in 2020. And we will, I guess you'll hear this episode in 2021. But stay tuned. Up next is Periotons, and then we've got some fun things coming after that.
Get ready for 2021 when the show changes to Encounter Me. And I tell you how I did not pronounce Deinonychus or Papadalapadappadon wrong.
If you want that, just hit us up, donate to us on Patreon. You get access to our private Discord, and you can just tell me to get off the show. I'll edit it. It's fine. I don't mind listening to Freeman
No,
talk.
it's not up to you. I already fired him. Fuck it. I'm over it.
That's it for me, listeners. I'll see you in my own show, Random Encounter with James.
Encounter the Practical Effect Man.
Ugh. Encounter poor pronunciations.
Oh, encounter poor pronunciations, you mean?
Pronunciations. Right. That makes more sense.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God.
Fade out.
We are the worst. Fade to black. And we love you, listeners.